Now Bobby Debarge come in the room, high as booty cool as usual. Okay, like he said, when ain't I'm high? Yeah, when ain't you high? But he comes in the business meeting. Is a black man behind the desk, a white man that looked fed up, sitting in the chair, going, "I wish this nigga would." Okay, and the black manager man or whoever the executive man was like, "Bobby, we letting you go. You ain't worth it." Bobby stand up and be like, "Huh? I ain't worth it. Ninja, I bought you L. I bought you the Debarges. I bought you Chico. You owe me, bruh. You owe
It's
me."
straight up madness everywhere I look. Used to be a straight A student, now he's a crook, robbing people just to smoke and shoot up. Used to have a crew cut, now he's a poop butt. Dropped out of school and he joins the neighborhood gang, hanging on the street selling cane.
Okay, TV1. So let's do this. I got mad respect for you because you are, like, I think one of the only black owned television stations down there to the cable, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a dummy chop at the back of your neck because you missed out on some very good points or some points about the story that, I mean, did y'all intentionally leave these parts of the movies out, or were you trying to save his reputation? I'm not sure, but anyway, child, they gonna give you the facts. So whatever TV1 missed, I'm gonna catch. So, guys, before we get started, please make sure that you like and share this video because it is so important to a content creator's success on YouTube. The movie opens up with Bobby Debarge in a hospital. If you guys did not know, Bobby Debarge succumbed to AIDS, the AIDS virus in 1995. Who was in the room with him was initially his mother, then his father came into the hospital. I mean, it was Debarges everywhere in the hallway. None of them spoke to their father. Okay, now the history, they touched on the history between the Debarge children and their father, and they did enough of that, I think, and they used a lot of discretion, and I thank you for it because from what I understand, there was so much abuse in that household. There was so much alcoholism in that household, and their mother turned a blind eye on the abuse that was going on between the father and the children, that it just really made their household extremely tumultuous. His wife is in the room with him, and he's talking about all of his regrets and how he wish he could do things over again. But hey, we all wish that there were some things that we could do over again, child. But you know what? You just keep. The show jumps back to 1980 where Switch is on stage, child, and Bobby Debarge and Tommy Debarge is on there getting it, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give TV1 another dummy chop because of the fact that them wigs, where did you get them wigs from? What was that wig's name that Tommy Debarge had on his head? What was the wig name that Bobby had? I know Bobby's, wig's name was Alyssa. Okay, because you know how they be naming them wigs. I said, come on, y'all. Y'all can even get a lace front for all of them had on busted wigs. Okay, and Switch, even down to the Philip Ingram, because Philip Ingram is James Ingram's brother child, and he could sing. You hear me? Between Philip Ingram and Bobby Debarge, oh my gosh, Switch was destined to go, but child, drugs always get in the way of a good thing, child. They always do. Not me. Another thing I want to touch on, TV1, y'all couldn't do no better with the makeup, so your wigs was busted. Okay? What's the name of that wigs? Eleanor. Okay, Bobby had on Eleanor and Tommy had on Alyssa. Okay? And that was Foundation Snow White. Okay? I'm very taken aback at how TV1's makeup artist did not see that foundation that they put on them boys to make them look lighter actually made them look kind of dead pale ish, kind of Snow White ish. It was like that. Bobby on stage, he's singing to the ladies, "I'm not worried about a doggone thing." Okay, and there's two women in the front row. He's singing to both of them. If I'm throwing it, honey. If you catch it, we gonna go. So of course the two girls in the front, they caught it, child. And at the end of the night, Bobby was in bed with two hoes, booger sugar, and some freebase. Now, you know, back then, what was that? The 80s? Y'all may not know this, but the 1980s, they wasn't calling, or early 1980s, or 1980, they did not call it crack then. What they called it was freebase, because it was a drug that contained more booger sugar than everything else. But it was more of an elitist thing to smoke freebase or to freebase, okay? Because Richard Pryor never called it, crack. I freebase, But that's something that people didn't know back then, and then it eventually turned into crack when they, less booger sugar, more crack. So then Tom knocks on the door, knock, knock, knock. Bob, what you doing? We got a meeting downstairs with the white man Burn. Bobby's like, I get there. You see these two hoes in the bed, got daggone, and I ain't finished with them yet. I ain't got my money's worth. Lloyd's character, whose name was Greg, was the originator of the group. Okay, Greg, I remember him from the Switch Unsung. And although they just played, it was the Bobby Debarge story, we're not gonna lie, but there were levels of addiction, okay? And Greg was saying how, it was in and out, we was social with it, and then you had the stone cold junkies that was, Bobby and his brother. Then you had the ones in the middle, but it was level. They all were junkies. So don't let the show fool you into thinking that, okay, Bob was the only junkie. No, ma'am. All them boys used drugs. It was just a different level of it. Greg was able to I'm still about to get this in. I ain't about to let this happen. Philip was the only one who did not do anything. So then we going back. Let's go back to the meeting, child. Bobby is setting his demands. He's trying to tell the manager, look, I want my family here. And if you can't get them here, then you need to call Jermaine and Hazel. Hence, Jermaine Jackson is the one who actually found Switch, right? And later on, Jermaine Jackson is going to also be the one who introduces the Debarge family, or the rest of the Debarge family, to Barry Gordy, who was played by Big. Into the meeting, Tommy says, you know what, you acting real shady, brother. You acting like Pappy. Bobby was like, don't equate me with that ninja. But you are. Flashback to the abuse in the household. The father, he was abusive. There were innuendos in the movie, but from what I understand, that Bunny Debarge and that Bobby Debarge got the brunt of their father's abuse. Bobby is on the phone with Bunny. Bobby's saying, come on, hurry up and get down here. Are the boys packed? Meaning the rest of the Debarges that's coming through. I think then it was, child, I can't with them Debarges. There's 100 of them. They said it was 10 in the movie. That is scary. So the Debarges is in California, and they fitting to get into the studio, child. Now, Greg, the founder of the group, is looking at it and talking to, the push button up and down guy. The producer guy, and saying, child, this is it. This is the beginning of the end. I can feel it. This man had got all 22 of his sisters and brothers here, and they all singing, child. It's going to be a matter of time before Bobby is in the group with Debarge. And from what I understand, he was supposed to be in that group with them. If he didn't get his own solo deal, then he was going to go to. So here we go. Bobby calls the house with the crack pipe in his hand, i.e. freebase pipe. I don't know what they call it, but in his hand. By that time, it might have been crack. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But Bobby calls the house. Mammy pick up the phone. He say, Ma, I'm calling you back. What you want, money? The mammy say, don't disrespect me like that. Bobby gets it off his chest and say, you disrespected me and your kids and the rest of us by allowing that white man who to beat on us and abuse us our whole lives. So back to LA, Bobby, Tommy, and the rest of the Debarges fitting to walk into the room with Barry Gordy and put the ooh, I like it down, okay? Then he outstrolls a LaToya Jackson. Oh, God, these damn wigs. TV One, do something about the wigs, Buster. Don't you ever, I mean, y'all can even borrow somebody else's better wig. I mean, damn. But anyway, Latoya Jackson came out looking real plump. She was a cute girl. She was cute. She kind of, sort of looked like Latoya Jackson, but her the casting wasn't really the best. I'm not gonna say. I am just gonna say that it wasn't really the best, but I would say the guy that played Bobby Debarge, he had the ears like Bobby Debarge. And actually, like I already say this, but the cast actually are very attractive who played in Switch. It was when they put all them wigs on for Alyssa and Julian and Janet on their head that they was like, what the fuck? So anyway, back to the audition. They had the audition. The DeBarges walk in the room. Latoya Jackson walks out. Smooth Bobby walks up on Latoya and say, "You miss me, girl?" Latoya said, "I'm sick of you. You so full of it. I'm so sick of you." And what actually happened was that they say that when Latoya, well, not they, but when I watched the Unsung of Switch, they felt like when Latoya finally left Bobby, that's what spiraled him out of control. Child, with the drugs and everything else, child. They done left out a lot of stuff, child, but out of respect for Debarge, I don't know, but they could have made this thing a little more juicier. You hear me? Maybe they wanted to keep it PG-13. I don't know. The audition was successful. Welcome to Motown, Debarge. Get your ass on the soul train, and ooh, I like it. Bobby Debarge has not yet realized that all the mean and hatefulness that his daddy had, or that his pappy had, he has too. Because keep in mind, guys, addiction can run in your family. Is in California, okay? Everybody, the twins, James, Chico, the mammy, everybody is in Cali, enjoying the DeBarge life. But let's do this little sidebar. Okay, everybody moved to California, but the mammy crept her ass back home into that abusive father. I don't know why, but women, we make mistakes all the damn time. And then I guess she got herself together or her ass beat, and she came back. So now they at the partying. Bobby Debarge introduces young James Debarge to Latoya Jackson and Janet Jackson, and it's on and popping. Now, know this. Janet did marry James. They did get together and marry them, but what the show neglected to show you guys was that Joe Jackson, you guys know that, she divorced him, but Joe Jackson was like, "Oh no, you will not be married to that trash." The DeBarge family is trash. They were known in the industry for being trash, being out of control, being pill poppers, destroying motels, destroying vending machines. They had the negative connotation with them. Yes, they were attractive people, but people that were a part of the California music industry life, they know them motherfuckers had no home training. What's crazy about it, the only DeBarge, out of that first generation that did not end up on drugs was L. But dig this. After everybody else had started getting clean, L had turned into an alcoholic. We get to Chico Debarge, where Chico is very excited because he say, "Hey, somebody in the industry want a part of your brother." Ooh, that Chico Debarge album. I know it's so many babies out here now that was off that Chico. And Chico was old bad boy child. And he had old bald head chad with the Timberlands on. Remember when men were wearing jeans that was a little baggy? Remember that? And wife beaters? Chad wasn't nothing like old light-skinned DeBarge that would strangle you. I mean, I'm just saying. With my wife. So anyway, Bobby quickly tries to crush Chico DeBarge's dreams because he's like, "Oh, if anything going to be made, it's going to be made through me. If you're going to get famous, it's going to be famous through me." And all along, Bobby just had so much jealousy and anger in his heart that he didn't realize that he was actually holding his family back. Fast forward back. Jermaine and Bobby in the bathroom, child. Bobby comes out, Jermaine looking in the mirror, they hovering over top of the sink. Bob say to Jermaine, "What's popping, bruh?" Jermaine say, "Don't talk to me. You ain't shit." You ain't nothing. You done, buddy. Bobby arrogant self go, well, let's ask your sister, am I done? How about Jermaine that? Say, don't come near my sister no more. He said, I ask Latoya. When Latoya tell me that, then I'll move on. Jermaine said, consider this your notice. Oh, that ninja was hurt. He was hurt. Let's talk about the things about Switch that TV One neglected to put in the movie. I don't know why. Okay, because the same people who did the unsung, it's the same people who made the movie TV One, but I digress. So there's a couple of things, right? I mentioned that they all had some level of substance use socially, all the way through to abusive. Right. Also, what they failed to mention was that Bobby Debarge was bisexual, that he had always had some type of, he was sexually fluid. Let's put it that way. So Gary had a problem with that because he felt like, well, no, you putting it out there that you gets down both ways. And then now the people are thinking that we all get down like that. No, I like the ladies. Don't put a cramp in my style because you go everywhere. So that's one thing that they neglected to tell you. That could have possibly been how he contracted the HIV virus. The second thing they forgot to tell you, or they neglected to tell you, or the third thing rather, because it was the drugs, the bisexuality, and then the third thing being that he was an intravenous drug user. Okay, so that's part of the story that they failed to mention that I wanted to bring to the story, just in case you motherfuckers didn't see the unsung. I swear they did the whole movie in the auditorium. I don't know what the hell to say. This whole movie must have cost them, including the actors, pay. It had to have cost them. Maybe about 30,000. Maybe. We're on Soul Train, right? Ooh, and I like it, right? James is now with the group. They sing their song. James come out the back door, and drunk ass Bobby Debarge is in the car. Okay, Bobby and James are talking to each other. James still has that animosity towards him. Bobby is like, I need you to tell me what your problem is with me. Get it off your chest. James is like, you're high. Bobby says, I'm always high. Okay, but I need you to tell me what the problem is. And this is when James tells Bobby, this is my problem. So Janet drives up while they're in the heat of the talking, and Janet, they did a great Janet too. Great Janet, because that girl definitely embodied 80 something Janet Jackson. Okay. That was the young love. Ring around the roses, young love, searching for a. Let me shut up for YouTube demonetized. Them niggas look for a reason now to demonetize. Debarge come in the room, high booty cool as usual. Okay, like he said, when ain't I'm high? Yeah, when ain't you high? But he comes in the business meeting. There's a black man behind the desk, a white man that looked fed up, sitting in the chair, going, "I wish this nigga would." Okay. And the black manager man or whoever the executive man was like, Bobby, we letting you go. You ain't worth it. Bobby stand up and be like, huh? I ain't worth it. Ninja, I bought you L. I bought you the Debarges. I bought you Chico. You owe me, bruh. You owe me. China people looked at them and said, well, it's like 19 more Debarges over there in the closet that we can replace you with, nigga. You ain't that important. Debarges is having another party because, again, they failed to show you or inform you that Debarges were known to be out of control, even though they tried to depict them boys and that one girl as, scary Marys. But for real, the Debarges was party with the Debarges, and he meets his wife, Terry. And when I seen her, like now to this day, that damn girl looked like she like 32. You hear me? She is young and beautiful, but then I find out she Canadian. And that's like a whole race in whining itself. And dining each other, child, they in love. I don't know what made him pick her. They didn't go into that. I mean, did she know that he was bisexual? Did she know that he was an intravenous user? Did she know, or was she just not worried about it because that was Bobby Debarge and she wanted to create a whole Debarge singing group herself? I'm just saying. So here we go. Bobby and Chico think they drug lords. They show Bobby, saying, "Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous this time, y'all. I got a bad feeling, child." And this was actually the time that they got caught because Chico thought he was cute. He just strapped all this booger sugar to his waist. Child got off the plane, and the DEA was waiting for his ass. Okay, so that's when they both did time. Okay, and that was another thing that the music execs played on when it comes down to Chico, because I told you, all the ladies was like, "Oh, Chico DeBarge, oh, he's a thug. We want that thug passion." But Bob was locked up for, I think it was 4 or 5 years, and in the jail or while in incarceration, that's when he found out that he was HIV positive, right? So sad. And another thing they touched on while he was locked up was that the inmates thought that he was El DeBarge. And I'm not going to lie. That song, I'm not worried about a doggone thing. I take anything you bring. I thought that was DeBarge. It wasn't until I realized that was Bobby DeBarge with Switch that I was like, "Oh shit!" So then, at that point on, that's when I started, researching Bobby DeBarge. Child, I'd be so interested in music and creators and producers. Child, I just be having to know everything. If y'all need me, baby, y'all can put me on Jeopardy. I mean, I can make us some money, child. So they arrested Chico, child, on the spot. They came and got Bobby later, child. The movie comes full circle. He is released from jail. Then the show goes back to which this started, where he is in the hospital with his family and he dies, and he succumbs to age August 16th, 1995. Overall, I would give the movie a great B, an excellent B movie, but you can know that TV1 does not have the budget the way that BET does, or any of these other networks. But I think it was a great job. Okay, it was good enough for me. And once I took out my mind, okay, girl, this ain't BET money. This is TV1 money. This is lunch money. If you have not already done so, please like this video because it is so important to our success here on YouTube. Now, remember this. The same people you meet on the way up will always be the same people you meet on the way down. Naysayers, my patron loves. Have a good one.